tea. Oh, there's tea. And we're getting loaded up here. And it is hot where I am. And the air conditioning was off. Tea. And it's about 81 degrees. Let's do that. All right. Now I think we're going to be okay since we've been able to do that. And we are there, and that's correct now. And let's get back over here to the tabs that we are working with. And we are now there. Again, welcome to Discoveries in Health. Bishop Dr. Truman Berst, and this is Discoveries in Health, and I've got a tickle in my throat. Come on now. This is Bishop Dr. Truman Berst. Coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries. And welcome to Discoveries in Health. And here we are talking about natural remedies. We're not diagnosing, we're not prescribing, we're not promising cures. We just know that when you use natural remedies and you're using the right ones and you know which ones to use and how to use them, that for well, since the beginning of time, people have been helped with natural remedies. The fact that they have been vilified, and you've told that they just don't work, and you really should stay with drugs only. Well, that just doesn't make any sense, and people know that. And even and of course, there are people that are making money because of something that makes no sense, and they do it all the time, and it's called a scam. And the people are being scammed if they are thinking that the only thing that can help them is a drug, because your body doesn't run on drugs. God didn't make it to run on drugs. You may need a drug for a certain length of time but ultimately we need to find out what's going wrong with the body totally, and not just looking at targeting one thing, but the entire body. Mind, body, spirit. When you're looking at the whole picture, which drug allopathic medicine does not look at the whole picture. That's why they do not include natural remedies, and they have vilified them for profit. And that's a fact. It's not a secret. It's not misinformation. People know this. Although evil people will call that misinformation. but this is not true. Natural food is what we run on. And you want the best nourishment You don't want dirty air, unclean food, and contaminated water. But that's what the people that are telling you that there should be a drugs only society, that's wrong. That's totally wrong. And everybody knows it. Even the people that are saying that it is, that it's, that it is truthful. They're lying, and they're doing it for profit. You got to follow the money. And wherever the big money's going, you're going to find that there's always corruption, because there's always people with their trying to figure out how they're going to get some. So, so the thing that we need to focus on is how do we naturally get in touch with our body so that we can give it what it needs and what it wants, not what you emotionally think you'd like to have because it tastes better, looks better, but isn't, and it might not even be real, natural, or absorbable, but it looks great, smells great, and basically that's generally what you're looking at when you're looking at children when they're handed something. Does it look good? Does it smell good? Does it taste good? That's it. Well, that's okay when you're a child, but in other words, I mean, it's okay to think that way because it's natural, but it's not okay to think that way. It's not natural. As you get older and you understand, ingredients matter, quality matters, the contents are very important, and we need to and we need to instill that type of mentality also into our children, because it's not there anymore. It's gone, and we know it. Again, a child will look at you, and if it looks good, tastes good, then it must be good. And especially if it was handed to him by an adult, it must be good. But we're not children anymore. We got to look at the label, and we got to put into the body what the body needs, not what it might need, but what it really does need. We got to get in communication. So how? So that's been my labor of love for Jesus Christ for 62 years, is to create a system that explains all that. So I did. So let's start now with an opening prayer, and then let's get into how that works. How do you get in touch with your body so that you can do anything you wanted to do, even in your 80s and 90s, and even if you become 100, you can still work, play, be active, and be mentally still able to discern and remember and articulate, even when you're old and in your 80s. That's priceless, because people are losing that at various younger and younger. More and more young people are getting cancer than ever before. More and more young people are getting cancer more than ever before, and a lot of other problems that's a huge problem. But it's not really, this information is not getting out there. People are being placated and told lies. with very few truths along the way. Anyway, let's get to Ephesians 6 and and have an opening prayer, and let's describe how it's possible to be old and still be young. Ephesians 6 2 to 10. Yeah, there we go. And then we want the let's go make it 2 to 18. Okay, 2 to 18. 2 to, no, 6:18. Let's go 6:18. That's what we need. Okay, 6. There it is. 6, 10, 18, King James Version. That's that is a good place to start. Is King James Version of the Bible, Ephesians 6, 10 to 18. And in Jesus Christ's name we pray. All praises to the Most High God. And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, and we receive as we praise and worship and thank the Most High God. Praise, worship, and thank you, the Most High God, in Jesus Christ's name. Praise, worship, and thank you as we receive your complete, continuous, endless, and limitless blessing for the glory and for the victory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In Jesus Christ's name, we receive. So be it. Amen. And wow. All right. Now, let's close some windows there, and let's look at let's look over here to our brothers and sisters over in the dial pad meeting room. And thank you for joining us. And if you have any question, if you have any comment or any suggestion, maybe you would like to talk about a particular topic, then please unmute your microphone by pressing your star key 2 times on your microphone, and we will unmute the microphone. And all right, so I don't see any microphones coming open. So let's get busy giving you the latest information about natural remedies. And where better to start than with Alliance for Natural Health and what's going on? What's the latest news as of today, June 22nd, 2023, from the latest natural health news is that the EPA is breaking the law to help pesticide companies. Well, we need to know that people that are in charge of doing what we ask them to do aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not accountable. Well, the EPA is not accountable, and they should be. The agency is giving pesticide-coated seeds a pass as they poison local communities and destroy ecosystems. I'll say that again. What are they doing? The EPA is giving pesticides, the pesticide-coated seeds, a pass, letting them into the supply chain. And they're poisoning local communities, and they're destroying ecosystems. Over the last few months, Alliance for Natural Health has been reporting on the health and environmental catastrophe linked to the pesticide-coated seeds, which were utilized to produce ethanol at a plant in Mead, Nebraska. Incredibly, the use of pesticide-coated seeds, both in ethanol production and to grow food, is completely legal, and EPA has refused to regulate these toxic seeds. Probably. Is it because it does not want to step on the toes of big agribusinesses? The agency is now being sued by advocacy groups for violating its own pesticide laws. Think about this. Think about this. The agency charged with protecting the environment and human health needs to be challenged in court to protect the environment and human health over industry profits. It is a sad commentary on the state of affairs in Washington. But we must help hold the agency's feet to the fire on this. And so the lawsuit brought forth by the Center of Food Safety and the Pesticide Action Network seeks to close a loophole at the EPA that allows seeds coated with neonicotinoid, neonic for short, pesticides to evade regulation under federal pesticide laws. The groups argue that pesticide-coated seeds should be regulated like other pesticides under the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, Rodenticide Act, which is called FIFRA, which would trigger a closer regulatory scrutiny. In particular, an analysis of the seeds' benefits versus their costs to the environment and human health. Notably, if neonic coated seeds were regulated under FIFRA, the EPA would have to show that the seeds do not cause unreasonable or adverse effects to the environment. As we're about to discuss in a minute, this would be a heavy lift for the EPA, which is likely the reason the agency is fighting to keep the loophole open, allowing them to do this. The EPA claims that the seeds fall under an exemption to the FIFRA called, the exemption is called the treated article exception. These are items treated with pesticides to protect the item itself. The examples given by the EPA include treated plastic shower curtains, or the incorporation of pesticides into paint. A common sense reading of the statute demonstrates how ridiculous the EPA's position is, that this exemption applies to treated seeds. Really is. The exemption applies when a pesticide is added to a product to protect the product itself. Example, the shower curtain or the paint. The neonicotinoids are added to seeds primarily to protect the growing plant, not the seed itself, from pests. More to the point, between 90 and 99% of the seed coating doesn't even stay on the seed. 90 to 99% of the seed coating doesn't even stay on the seed. So it's not protecting seed as a coating like the FIFRA exemption intends. The vast majority of the neonicotinoid coating is lost to the soil, air, and water. This is a massive issue for human health and the environment. Approximately 95%, and I'm trying to get this mouse to go back to work on me. There it is. I thought, unless Tony wanted his mic open. If you want your mic open, Tony, please unmute your mic and let me know what you, if you have anything to say. We're talking about the EPA allowing pesticide coated seeds into the supply chain for no good reasons, unless it's to protect the pesticide people who are selling pesticides. That's it, because it's hurting the environment. it's harming humans, and it's contaminating the environment, and the EPA is allowing it. And we're talking about the fact that people need to know this is going on so that they can voice an opinion. If so what we're talking about here is, because these seeds are unregulated under let's go back. This is a massive issue for human health and the environment. Again, approximately 95% of the land area of the United States treated with any neonicotinoid insecticide is treated via planting coated seeds. Dozens of crops are grown from neonicotinoid treated seed, including corn, soybeans, wheat, canola, potatoes, sunflowers, cotton, and many vegetables. And they shouldn't be eaten. And the EPA is letting these pesticides into these foods, making these foods you should avoid. You should avoid corn, soybeans, wheat, canola, potatoes, sunflowers, cotton, and a whole host of vegetables. And every year, 150 million acres of farmland are planted with neonicotinoid pesticide coated seeds. Because these seeds are unregulated under FIFRA, there's no guidelines for how to properly dispose of the seeds. This negligence led directly to the catastrophe in Mead, Nebraska. To recap, pesticide-coated seeds were utilized to produce ethanol at a plant in Mead. The toxic byproduct of this process was stored in lagoons that polluted the air, the soil, and the water in and around the city of Mead. And Mead residents described the stench of the fermented seed sludge as acidic, rotten, dead. That was the smell. Acidic, rotten, dead. And if you lived near the plant, you couldn't open your windows. Birds stopped coming to the feeders. People reported nosebleeds and eye irritation. A dog who ate some of the seed mash, became sick, exhibiting neurological symptoms. Bee colonies collapsed. There are no bee colonies. They all collapsed. Researchers worry about extensive groundwater contamination that could threaten an underground aquifer that supplies water to parts of Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, New Mexico, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, and Wyoming. That's huge. That's huge. Contamination of underground aquifers, and that's at risk. Sadly, there's nothing to prevent this from happening again until the EPA decides to regulate these seeds as pesticides. But doing so would require a cost-benefit analysis. Let's review some of those costs and benefits. Wide-ranging evidence, even industry-funded studies, has confirmed that neonicotinoids kill pollinators like bees and butterflies at alarming rates, leading to warning of an impending insect apocalypse. An insect apocalypse. To quote the USDA's Forest Service, without pollinators, the human race and all of the Earth's terrestrial ecosystems would not survive. The EPA's own evaluation found that neonicotinoids are likely to adversely affect up to 75% of endangered species in the US. Last month, the EPA released another analysis concluding that neonics pose an existing threat to more than 200 species. A 2019 Japanese study found that the introduction of neonics to rice fields led to the disappearance of zooplankton in a nearby lake, ultimately leading to the collapse of the fishery located there. Ingesting just one coated seed can kill a songbird, just one seed. Chronic human exposure to neonic pesticides has been associated with adverse neurological and developmental outcomes, including birth defects, autism spectrum disorder, and memory loss. Now to the perceived benefits. What are the benefits? The basic argument for using neonics, as far as many chemical herbicides and pesticides, is that they increase yields because they protect crops from pests. But numerous studies show that neonics do not meaningfully increase crop yields. So it's not true. This was corroborated by European reports finding that the crop yields were maintained even after neonics were banned. Even the EPA agrees. An agency study concluded that neonic treated seeds provide negligible overall benefits to soybean production in most situations. When the EPA asked agricultural experts how neonicotinoid seed coatings affects soybean yield, 74% responded that the yield either stayed the same or decreased. So on the one hand, we have a devastated community in Mead, Nebraska. And more generally, the threat of an insect apocalypse that could throw the world into a species-ending famine. And on the other hand, the available information shows that neonicotinoid-coated seeds aren't effective at increasing crop yields. Any sensible cost-benefit analysis would show that the costs overwhelmingly outweigh the benefits. This may give some insight into why the EPA refuses to regulate treated seeds under the FIFRA to protect the industry profits. That's it. When we can't, and that can't continue. So you can go on the website, and I don't get anything for this, but I might suggest that you check this out. Alliance for Natural Health, ANH-USA.org. You go on their website, look at this article, and come down here and contact the administrator, Michael Reagan, and U.S. senators and U.S. representatives and let them know what's going on, because apparently they don't. Because if they did, they would mean they don't care. And that's not right. So let's let people know that this is going on and it needs to be looked into. We need to make sure that these folks stay accountable, because obviously they certainly aren't accountable on their own. So what are we looking at next? Let's look at something that you should know about. People are always asking me, do you know of a good book on natural remedies? Well, yes, I do. And here is a very good book called Prescription for Nutritional Healing. That's the 3rd edition. Make sure you get the latest edition. But this is the a free PDF version, and there's been millions of copies sold, because it very well accurately has been researched by numerous health experts, and it really goes on to educate people wisely about natural health topics. And I don't get anything from the sale of this book. There's another book I'd like you to know about, and that's the book that I created called Prescription for Nutritional Healing. And it's on the website herbalhealthreview.com. It's in the store. And it's my book all about herbs and how to use them and which ones do what and so forth. So you are educated in herbal medicine. That book is available as a digital download for $15.95. And it's we'll get back to but let's take a look. Herbal descriptions. That's the book. It's on the website. And in that book, Herbal Descriptions, it's all about herbal tinctures. It's how to use herbal liquid medicines, single herbs, specialized products, oils, essential oils, special formulations, tincture formulations. There's references and a glossary of terms, so you can understand exactly what, anything that gets a little technical. But that's the book. That's my book. And I've been posting up some videos on single herbs lately. But this book gives you all the special formulations that I created, so you know which ones. Then it gives you all the single herbs, so you know why I used each herb. Anyway, you can get that. It's in the store over here, and that's my book, Herbal Descriptions. So be sure and get a copy of that book. It will be very handy to know what's good for what, and learn about natural remedies, especially herbs. Let's get back over to where we were talking about prescriptions for nutritional healing here. And Hippocrates. It starts with a quote from Hippocrates, the father of medicine. A wise man should consider that health is the greatest of human blessings. Maybe that's why in 3 John 1, 2, 3 John 1, 2, it talks about above all else that we should be in good health, that we should prosper and be in good health above all else. And Hippocrates is saying the same thing. Your health is one of the greatest of all human blessings. And God is saying is that above all else, that prosperity and health is very important. And Socrates once said, there's only one good knowledge, and one evil. Ignorance. Ignorance. That's it. There's only one good knowledge and one evil. Evil ignorance. This statement should guide us in all our actions, especially where our health is concerned. To many of us, there's too many of us that do not have the slightest idea of how to maintain good health. When illness strikes, we rely on doctors and drugs to cure us. Doctors and drugs don't cure anybody. That's not what they do. But that we rely on them to do that mistakenly. What we fail to realize is the cure comes from within. Nature has provided us with a wondrous immune system. And all we have to do is take proper care of this inner healing force. Your body wants to heal itself. You scratch yourself, it's busy doing everything it can to heal that area. And when it brings back new skin, that new skin is stronger than the old skin that was scratched. The body is constantly trying to improve and keep you well. But it is highly ignored because people don't understand it. Anyway, this may sound too simple, but basically, it is simple. Our modern lifestyles have gotten us off the right track with fast foods, alcohol abuse, drug dependencies, a polluted environment, which we just demonstrated, and high-tech stress. We got a lot of high-tech stress. Nature intended to fuel our inner healing force with the right natural substances to enable the body to function up to its fullest potential. Nature's resources, whole foods, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, amino acids, phytochemicals, that means plant chemicals, and other natural bounties that they're designed for our use in our immune systems. However, because most of us have a profound lack of knowledge as to what our bodies need to function properly, we find ourselves out of balance and susceptible to all sorts of illnesses. And I hear this every day. And people are calling me to find out how to put things back in balance again and get things working again. People want to be back to what they lost. They want it back. All individuals should take an active part. All individuals should take an active part in the maintenance of their health and in the treatment of their disorders. They need to take a part in it. You just can't. If you put somebody else in charge of your health, that they're supposed to do it, that's not going to work. You have to be on the job. That's your job. You can get help to fix your body, but you're the one that's got to be diligent and look out for what's going on and look out for that body. It gets back to the basic principle. You got to love yourself. And until you learn to love yourself, then it's hard to love other people, and it's very hard for other people to love you. We need to love ourselves. We need to start taking care of ourselves. Adopt yourself. The more we take it upon ourselves to learn about nutrition, the better prepared we will be to take an active role. Attitude is also an important factor in the process of health maintenance and healing. We must have a positive state of mind in order to bring harmony. It gets down to, you can either live in faith and choose faith in Jesus Christ as your Savior, or you can live in fear because you have nothing. You have nowhere to go and a sad end, and it's all nothing at the end. That's fear and no faith. I choose faith. I could not live in fear of worrying about everything and everybody and what they're doing and all what the government is doing, all what other people are doing. I can't do that. I have to, you have to die to this world, because it'll drag you into a pit. You have to take care of yourself, love yourself, and attract love from other people. That's opening the door to then being able to want to care for this person that you love and that is in your care, because you are in your care. And a lot of people just don't even think, they're not thinking about that. They're just thinking about how they got to take care of their kids, how they got to take care of their husband trying to figure out how to take care of everybody, etc. But they're not thinking of their selves. You got to love yourself. It starts with yourself. It starts with loving yourself. It starts with taking care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anything else. Starts and ends right there. We must have a positive state of mind in order to bring harmony to the body. The realization that the body, the lifestyle, the spirit, the desire, the mind, which is belief, must come together. It's the first step to better health. Mind, body, spirit. Can't separate them, can't divide them. The devil is division and will try to divide anything and everything and cut it up in little pieces, and you can't understand what any little piece means anymore. That's the devil. Chaos, division. The realization that body, lifestyle, spirit, desire, mind, belief must come together is the first step to better health. Love yourself and get in touch with the mind, body, spirit. So anyway, you're a healthcare professional. You want to get someone that is knowledgeable to be your healthcare professional, to guide you. Someone who had experience and knows what to do, and someone who is spirit-filled and spirit-led. That's the person that needs to guide you. You do not want someone who is struggling with their belief in God, and they're coming and going, and with alcohol and drugs and everything else. You need somebody who's balanced, who knows about natural remedies, who's experienced, an experienced healthcare professional. So you can get that natural approach to healing, which may be used in conjunction with your current medical treatment. Drugs are not the only way, and very often we need to work together. We need to stop the division. There is a time and a place where you may need a drug for a while or for a long time. Depends on just how rare the situation or how difficult the situation is. However, there is so much to be said about mind, body, spirit, and natural remedies, and a healing system that's targeting your immune system and keeping you strong and targeting any deficiencies, so that if you need any supplements, then that's what it's there to support the body. Natural remedies are there to support your body. Drugs are there to force you to do what they want it to do, and generally there's a reaction over a period of time, and that drug is no longer acceptable to the body. There's a number of suggestions that are offered in this particular book of intravenous therapy, which also can be administered by or under the supervision of a licensed physician. And also because your body chemistries differ, some may have an allergic reaction to certain supplements, certain foods, certain anything. There are people who are allergic to air, water, and food. Before taking any nutritional supplement, you want to check with your healthcare professional, make sure that you're on track. It's very sad when people don't even call me up. They know me, but they don't tell me that they tell me they're going to go on a fast, and then they go on a fast. And later they tell me, well, I fasted, and I fasted without water, and I will never do that again. That's what they say. Because you should never fast without water. But there are people who are not knowledgeable of that, and they will say, you should fast on everything. Fast. Don't take anything. No, you need air and you need water constantly. Air and water. You can't shut either one of them off. It don't work. So never fast without water. And I had somebody do that recently and come back to tell me that they did that. And I couldn't believe that they did, but they did. Anyway. So should you experience any kind of an allergic reaction to any supplement, you want to immediately discontinue the use of the supplement. And you should never attempt to treat yourself without professional advice. That was the point of what I just said. Never attempt to treat yourself without professional advice. That's why people call me on my telephone number and they text me constantly. And I text them right back. So they're getting immediate response to a question, and all they had to do is text me on my telephone number. Of course, a lot of people don't have that. They don't know about me. They don't know just how hard I work. But that's how hard I work. I'm watching after thousands of people. And they're texting me, they're emailing me, they're Skyping me, they're WhatsApping me. They're coming from every direction. and I'm helping as many as I can. And I don't get anything from the sale of any product. I'm not here selling product. So I'm working on donation. And so many years I got so few donations, I lost my house. But I never quit. I've been doing this for 62 years. I'm never going to quit. I'm going to still do this when I'm 150. No kidding. So anyway, this is a very interesting book. And over 800 years ago, Moses Maimonides said, the physician should not treat the ailment, but the patient who is suffering from it. And anyway, this particular book was designed to meet differing needs of individuals, and it's a great book. So I wanted to let you know about this book, and the fact that it's one of the books that really helped me to put together the health system that I feel is the best natural healthcare system in the world today. This is it, because I'm seeing people that are getting well. I'm seeing people call me back and telling me that this is working. This is helping them. So one of the things you're going to get out of this book is going to help you to achieve and maintain the highest level of health and fitness, especially when you have someone to guide and coach you that already has been living the book since it was written. You want the highest level of health and fitness through careful dietary planning and nutritional supplementation and herbs. You need a balanced system, because everybody's body is different. We're all vibrating at a specific vibrational level. Even if you're even if you're free from so-called disorders, you're going to benefit from this book and from the system that I was able to create from it and make it better than just the book itself, because I actualized a system to where you have someone who's helping you, and you have a manufacturer who's manufacturing the natural remedies. And it was and to make it clear of how valuable the system on herbalhealthreview.com, that system that is there on herbalhealthreview.com. And when you look over to the home page on herbalhealthreview.com, it starts with, beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. 3 John 1:2, King James Version. So that's where you start. And that's where this website and this information, that's where it starts. I've got lots of testimonials over the last 62 years. And there's all the ways that you can join this system that is unlike any other system, because there is no other system that is giving you the information and educating you and then leading you to the manufacturer, and they're not getting anything from the sale of any product. So I'm not trying to make any money doing that. It'd be nice if I could. Maybe I'd be able to do more on this end. But the government didn't want me to make any money. They said I had to stop and get rid of everything, or they would destroy me. Well, we went to court over that, and I won. That's why this website is still here. That's why that manufacturer is still manufacturing, although they've been brutalized over the last years. The manufacturer has been totally brutalized in numerous ways, and continues to make a comeback every time that they get brutalized, because that's what's happened to the manufacturer, Health and Herbs. There's no profit in what they've done, except their profit in helping Jesus, helping the works of God, helping the works of Jesus Christ. That's David, that's what's going on there. But this system, you can get a lifetime membership with consultations and coaching and monitoring, and you can text me and let me know how you're doing, so that it's you're able to talk to me within minutes. Sometimes take me an hour, or even maybe a day or two to get back to some people in some situations. However, most of the time it's within minutes that I'm able to help somebody. And if you send me a complete protocol or a complete member intake form that's listed over here on the side panel, you make a donation so that I can help people, so I can help you, because that's all I get. And without the donation, I don't have any money to pay for anything. I can't make this. I couldn't make this video if I don't get a donation from you. So I need your donations. I'm not a wealthy person. As a matter of fact, I lost my home. I lost everything, and I live with other people. So in order to keep going and keep helping people, because it's taking every single thing I've ever had for the last 62 years to make this happen. But that's how valuable this system is, and I won't quit. And there are people around me who won't quit either. And it's been brutal. The pandemic and surviving that, surviving government failures across the board, so many of them. We've had, 2008. We lost everything financially in 2008. It was a government failure. They bailed out the banks, and they did not bail out the small businesses. They did what they always do: let them go down the drain while they bail out the banks. What's wrong with that picture? But anyway, so this is it. This is how you fill out this member intake form right there. And when you fill that out, then I give you a protocol of what to take, when to take, how to take it. So you got a complete step-by-step procedure. Then you can text me anytime you have a question. There's not another system like this. There just isn't. And especially with anybody who knows what they're doing and getting results, because I am. We are. It's absolutely incredible. That's why you can't quit when you know that you're helping people who are suffering. Our people are suffering for lack of knowledge. Yes. Anyway, fill out that fill out that member intake form. Fill out the member intake form and get into the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system. That changes everything. Make the donation, of your choice. That's it. Then I can help you to better health. But getting back to this, this is a lot of great information, and I wanted to make sure that you were acquainted with this book. and and how to use it, because building up your immune system and increasing your energy level, that's where it's all got to start. And the body is a complex organism. 37 trillion cells. 37 trillion cells. You've got a brain up here. You got a brain on your heart. You got a brain in your stomach. They just found these things out. Some of you say, well, what? I don't, only one brain right there. No, this brain is talking to the brain in the heart. This brain is talking to all the other brains throughout the body. They're finding brains in the body that yeah, with neurons, just like the brain. Little anyway, the body is a complex organism, so complex man is barely beginning to understand how it works, and they still haven't figured it out. So if you only listen to the body, it will heal itself with proper nourishment and care. In spite of all the abuse our bodies endure, whether through exposure to environmental toxins, poor nutrition, cigarette smoking, alcohol consumption, or inactivity, or wrong food choices because you like them, not because and you're willing to look the other way while they poison you and cause you illness because you like the way it looks and tastes, and you're going to continue smoking those cigarettes because you're addicted, and the alcohol because you just don't want to give it up, etc., etc. And these things are killing us. And so and they usually, it's a while before they are killing us. They kill you slowly. Sometimes they kill you quickly, but usually they creep up on you. You're really addicted, really love it, and it's really killing you. And finally, you get signs of illness that start to appear. And you say, wow, that never happened before. Yeah, I get that. People say, I've never had that before. That's right. You never had it before because it took that long for the abuse of the environment, the toxins, the toxins, the poor nutrition, the poor diet. They all serve us well for many years before signs of illness may start to appear. Even then, with a little help, they respond to continue to function and go back to work again. And then you go back to the other things you did because you love to do those things, and it causes it again. And eventually people are going back and forth and until they can't make that trip anymore. Nerve signals travel through muscles at the speeds as fast as 200 miles per hour. The brain puts out enough electric power to light a 20-watt light bulb with just your brain. If your leg muscles moved as fast as your eye muscles, you could walk over 50 miles in one day. But your eye muscles are moving faster than your legs. According to scientists, bone is among the strongest building materials known to humankind. Is the human bone one of the strongest building materials known to humankind? The human bone. It can withstand nearly as much stretching and bending and stress and more compression stress than steel reinforced concrete can tolerate. That's how strong it is. Think of your body as being composed of millions of tiny little engines. Some of these engines work in unison. Some work independently. All are on call 24 hours a day. The body does not sleep. You do, the body doesn't. It's working 24 hours a day. In order for the engines to work properly, they require specific fuels for energy. And if the type of fuel given is the wrong blend, the engine will not perform to its maximum capacity, if at all. If the fuel is a poor grade, the engine may sputter, hesitate, and lose power. If the engine, the cells, are given no fuel at all, they will stop. The fuel we give our bodies, engines, comes directly from the things we consume. The foods we eat contain nutrients. These nutrients come in the form of vitamins, minerals, enzymes, water, amino acids, carbohydrates, and lipids. It is these nutrients that sustain life by providing us with the basic materials our bodies need to carry on their daily functions. Individual nutrients differ in form and function, and in the amount needed by the body. However, they are all vital to our health. The actions that involve nutrients take place on microscopic levels, and the specific processes differ greatly. Nutrients are involved in all body processes, from combating infection to repairing tissue to thinking. Although nutrients have different specific functions, their common function is to keep us going, keep right on going. Research has shown that each part of the body contains high concentrations of certain nutrients. A deficiency of those nutrients will cause the body part to malfunction and eventually break down like dominoes. Other body parts will follow, just like dominoes. Once one thing starts breaking down, then the next one gives up, then the next one gives up, until finally the body shuts down completely. To keep this domino thing from happening, we need a proper diet and appropriate nutritional supplements. Brain function, memory, and skin elasticity, and eyesight, and energy. The ratio of lean fat tissue in the body and overall health are all indications of how well the body is functioning. With the help of the proper nutrients, and exercise, and a balanced diet, we can slow the aging process and greatly improve our chances for a healthier and pain-free and possibly longer life. If we do not give ourselves the proper nutrients, we can impair the body's normal functions and cause ourselves great harm. Even if we show no signs of illness, the you're getting away with it. You think you're getting away with it. You're not getting away with it. Even if we show no signs of illness, we may not necessarily be healthy. It simply may be that we are not yet exhibiting any overt symptom of illness. One problem most of us have is that we do not get the nutrients we need from our diets because most of the foods we consume are cooked or processed. Cooking at high temperatures and processing destroy vital nutrients. And the body, these vital nutrients that the body needs to function properly. The organic raw foods that supply these elements are largely missing from most people's diet. The past decade has brought to light, the past decades have brought to light much new knowledge about nutrition and its effects on the body and the role it plays in disease. Phytochemicals, also known as phytonutrients, are one example of the results of this research. These compounds in these phytonutrients that are present in plants that make plants biologically active. They are not nutrients in a classic sense, but they are what determines a plant's color, flavor, and ability to resist disease. Researchers have identified literally thousands of phytochemicals and also had developed the technology to extract those chemical compounds from and concentrate those compounds into pills, powders, capsules, and liquids. And it's the liquids that anything that's liquid that you can hold in your mouth, you're going to absorb more when it's broken down as an extract liquid. It's concentrated nutrition. These are called nutraceuticals. The newest type of dietary supplement on the horizon in the last decades is the nutraceuticals, plant compounds. Your body's nutritional needs are as unique to you as your appearance is. The first essential step towards wellness, therefore, is to be sure you're getting the correct amounts of proper nutrients by understanding the principles of holistic nutrition and knowing what nutrients you need. And you can improve the state of your health. You can ward off disease and maintain a harmonious balance in the way nature intended. Part 1 of this book should provide you with a clear understanding of the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, and enzymes, and phytochemicals, and other nutrients you need, as well as an important information on natural food supplements, herbs, and products that enhance nutrient activity. Eating a healthful diet and supplementing your diet with appropriate nutrients will help to assure that your organs, cells, and tissues get the fuel that they need to operate properly. The nutrients suggested in this book promote healing and wellness, allowing the body to heal and reinvigorate itself. So let's get into understanding basic nutrition. Good nutrition is the foundation of good health. Everyone needs the four basic nutrients: water, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, as well as vitamins, minerals, and other micronutrients. To be able to choose the proper foods and to better understand why those foods should be supported with supplements, you need to have a clear idea of the components of a healthy diet. Let's look at the four basic nutrients. Water, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are the basic building blocks of a good diet. By choosing the healthiest forms of each, these nutrients, and eating them in the proper balance, you'll enable your body to function at its optimal level. Water. Let's talk about the first of the four basic nutrients, water. The human body is 2/3 water. Water is an essential nutrient it's involved in every function of the body. It helps transport nutrients and waste products in and out of the cells. It is necessary for all digestive, absorptive, circulatory, and excretory functions, as well as for the utilization of water-soluble vitamins. It is also needed for the maintenance of proper body temperature. By drinking an adequate amount of water each day, at least 8 ounces, 8 ounces of water. Actually, it's half your body weight. If you weigh 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces, half your body weight in ounces. Half your body weight in ounces. If you weigh 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces of water. Or not just water, but of a healthy liquid that you're putting into your body, you need half your body weight in ounces. And by drinking enough water and the correct amount of water and the correct type of water, you can ensure that your body has all it needs to maintain good health. So, and we'll talk more about choosing the best type of water. We'll get into that in detail. In illustration, about 6 weeks ago, a young man in his 20s, he's a fan of mine, and he called me up and said, I don't know what's wrong. Something's wrong. I had an EKG, and it said that I had a heart problem, and my insurance company refused to insure me. What can I do? I said, well, let's examine why that you failed your EKG, and they say there's something wrong with your heart, and they won't insure you. Let's find out why. So we looked at what would cause a failed EKG. So I researched that, and it came up. Water is one of the things that can throw an EKG off. If somebody is dehydrated, your heart's not going to pump right if you're dehydrated. And he said, no, but I got my favorite and he's got this, organic beverage that he's drinking. He loves this organic liquid beverage, and he has plenty of that. And so forth. But he's not actually drinking water. He's drinking his favorite beverages that he likes. And I said, go on coconut water. instead of your favorite beverages, replace them with coconut water and get back to me after your next EKG. He called me back 6 weeks later. He said, guess what? I said, what? He says, you're spot on. He said, spot on. That's what they say in the UK, spot on. Anyway, he said, you were spot on with that water. He said, I drank, I replaced my beverage drink that I'm drinking and with the coconut water. And because coconut water has all of the electrolytes, it's a complete water that will rehydrate you better than just plain water. Coconut water will rehydrate you better. And so he got properly rehydrated and he passed his EKG and he got his insurance and he was a very happy guy. So, yeah. So, water, that's how important water is. It can cause you to have a heart attack, to get rehydrated enough. Then the next one is sugars, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, yeah, they supply the body with energy. With the energy, carbohydrates supply the body with the energy that it needs to function. Carbohydrates are found in almost exclusively in plant foods, such as fruits, vegetables, peas, and beans. Milk and milk products are the only foods derived from animals that contain a significant amount of carbohydrates. There is a lot of sugars in milk and milk products. And the leading cause of osteoporosis is that milk drinkers, dairy people are getting a lot of dairy. It's so acidic, it causes osteoporosis, and that is the leading cause of osteoporosis is milk. No one should be drinking milk. That's right. Except a baby, and that's mother's milk. Because milk is loaded with sugar and very acidic and will eat your bones. Carbohydrates are divided into two groups: simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates, sometimes called simple sugars, include fructose, which you should never consume. It's a fruit sugar. You consume it in fruits, and that's why it should be consumed, not alone. Sometimes these simple sugars, which include fructose, fruit sugar, and sucrose, which is table sugar, and lactose, which is milk sugar, as well as several other sugars. Fruits are one of the richest natural sources of simple carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates are also made of sugars, but the sugar molecules are strung together to form longer, more complex chains. So they're complex carbohydrates. So these complex chains of complex carbohydrates include fiber and starches. Foods rich in complex carbohydrates include vegetables, whole grains, peas, and beans. Carbohydrates are the main source of blood glucose, which is a major fuel for all of the body's cells and the only source of energy for the brain and red blood cells is glucose. Except for fiber, which cannot be digested. Both simple and complex carbohydrates are converted into glucose. The glucose is then either used directly to provide energy for the body or stored in the liver for future use. If a person consumes more calories than his or her body is using, a portion of the carbohydrates that are consumed may be stored in the body as fat. Due to the complex chemical reactions in the brain. Eating carbohydrates has a mild tranquilizing effect and can be beneficial for those people who suffer from seasonal affective disorder or depression. They get this complex chemical reactions in the brain. That's very soothing when they get a little sugar. There are some children, if they don't get 8 soda pops in a row, they'll tear your head off because they're not getting their sugar fix. Because they're addicted to one soda right after another until something breaks, and it will. When choosing carbohydrate-rich foods for your diet, always select unrefined foods such as fruits, vegetables, peas and beans, and whole grain products, which shouldn't even be eaten anymore, because that's the part of the supply chain that has that is now not edible, is grain products. You can, because they're so acidic anyway, and the body can't handle all the grain people have been putting in and living on. So if you're going to put grain in the diet, it's got to be an ancient grain like quinoa, Quinoa. Looks like quinoa, but it's pronounced quinoa. And that is a safe grain to eat. But remember, grains are acidic, and we've already talked about acid alkaline balance, because that's key to whether you're going to get a disease or not. You've got to keep the body alkaline. And when the body's out of balance, it's going acid. And then you see cancer and all kinds of other diseases because the body's too acidic. Carbohydrates. When choosing carbohydrate-rich foods for your diet, always select unrefined foods such as fruits, vegetables, peas, and beans. And you can no longer select the whole grain products because they're not edible. And whoever's in charge of the food, and that's the FDA, is a miserable failure for allowing that to happen. But they're busy pushing drugs, not food, and vilifying food. And they've done a very terrible job. And they should be totally accountable, and they're not. They're one of the most unaccountable organizations in federal government, is the FDA. They have let down the American people horribly, horrifically. You want to stay away from soft drinks, desserts, candy, and sugar. Refined foods offer few, if any, of the vitamins and the minerals that are important to your health. In addition, if eaten in excess, especially over a period of many years, the large amounts of simple carbohydrates found in refined foods can lead to a number of disorders, including diabetes and hypoglycemia, low blood sugar. Yet, another problem is that foods high in refined simple sugars often are also high in fats, which should be limited in a healthy diet. This is why such foods, which include most cookies and cakes, as well as many snack foods, are usually loaded with calories. In a word is in order. A word is in order here, actually, here regarding fiber. In a very important form of fiber, fiber is a very important form of carbohydrate, sugar, referred to in the past as roughage. Dietary fiber is the part of a plant that is resistant to the body's digestive enzymes. As a result, only a relatively small amount of fiber is digested or metabolized in the stomach or intestines. Instead, most of it moves through the gastrointestinal tract and ends up in the stool. Although most fiber is not digested, it delivers several important health benefits. First, fiber retains water. It pulls up all the moisture into it. Fiber retains water, resulting in softer and bulkier stools that prevent constipation and prevents hemorrhoids. A high fiber diet also reduces the risk of colon cancer, perhaps by speeding the rate of which stool passes through the intestines and by keeping the digestive tract clean. In addition, fiber binds with certain substances that would normally result in the production of cholesterol. And it eliminates these substances from the body in this way. A high fiber diet helps lower blood cholesterol levels, and is reducing the risk of the number one killer, heart disease. So, and let's take a look at a fiber. So that's why I created a fiber product. Let's take a look at number 4837. That is a fiber product that I created. And there we go. And we'll go down here. And we're going to type in 4837. 4837. So here is the greatest fiber formulation ever invented. That's it. Number 4837. It's Truman's fiber with bentonite clay. Still bears my name. I invented it many decades ago. And what does it take? It takes organic psyllium seed husks. And bentonite clay, and chlorella, spirulina, barley grass, wheatgrass, and acidophilus, and marshmallow root, and echinacea root, and wild yam root, and even has seaweed, Atlantic kelp, and shepherd's purse, and slippery elm bark, and green kamut. That is a highly nutritional and special, high nutrient a fiber that's imparting all kinds of minerals and vitamins and nutrition, along with the psyllium husks, which is the psyllium seed husks that are absorbing all the water. They're pulling everything into it. And the bentonite clay is also pulling all kinds of heavy metals and toxins into the bentonite clay, because the bentonite clay is negatively charged, and toxins and junk is positively charged. So it's magnetically pulling all of the toxins into the clay, into the fiber, into the psyllium, the organic psyllium husk. And it's imparting all the nutrients from the chlorella, spirulina, barley grass, wheatgrass, acidophilus, which is giving you all the friendly bacteria. It's so balanced and so high nutrient, it even has all the vitamins and minerals in it from Atlantic seaweed kelp. That was inventing that formulation and perfecting the invention. It took years and years of research when I created that 30 years ago and perfected it along the way. But that's number 4837, special fiber. So fiber, it's so important. And one way to make that fiber to really taste good is if you like cacao, put plenty of cacao chocolate powder, a pure, over the top of that fiber powder, and then it tastes like chocolate. And then you can put maybe some vanilla to make it taste like vanilla. And I add cinnamon, and then my fiber powder tastes like chocolate, vanilla, and cinnamon. And it's yummy. And I like it. And that's the way I do it. And I stir it up in coconut milk. That's how I've had my fiber today, and that's how I made it. Nutrition, diet, and wellness. It's recommended that about 60% of your total diet calories come from carbohydrates. So now you know where carbohydrate is, and where to get your calories from those kinds of foods. And like peas and beans. And if much of your diet consists of healthy complex carbohydrates, you should easily fulfill the recommended daily minimum of 25 grams of fiber. That's how much fiber your body really needs. Now, the next thing you want to know about is protein. Protein is essential for growth and development. It provides the body with energy and is needed for the manufacture of hormones, antibodies, enzymes, and tissues. That comes from protein. It also helps maintain the proper acid-alkali balance in the body. That's your proteins. Try to help you maintain that acid-alkaline, so that you're just a little more alkaline than acid. Okay. When protein is consumed, the body breaks it down into amino acids. And that's why amino acids are so important for people who aren't breaking down their foods, because protein is breaking down to become an amino acid, and the amino acid is the building blocks of all proteins. So those building blocks, some of the amino acids are designated non-essential. This does not mean that they are unnecessary, but rather that they do not have to come from the diet, because they can be synthesized by the body from other amino acids. So they're non-essential because you can get them from other amino acids, meaning other amino acids are considered essential, meaning that the body cannot synthesize them. Therefore, it must obtain them from the diet. And whenever the body makes a protein, it builds muscle, for instance. It needs a variety of amino acids for the protein making process. These amino acids may come from dietary protein or from the body's own pool of amino acids. If a shortage of amino acids becomes chronic in the body, which can occur if the diet is deficient in essential amino acids, if you have a poor nutritional diet, the building of protein in the body stops and the body suffers. And we can get more into that when we get into amino acids. Because of the importance of consuming proteins that provide all of the necessary amino acids, dietary proteins are considered to belong to two different groups, depending on the amino acids they provide. Complete proteins, which constitute the first group, contain ample amounts of all of the essential amino acids. These are proteins. These proteins are found in meat, fish, poultry, cheese, eggs, milk. The safest of all of those would be fish. In limited quality, in limited quantity, because all of those are toxic. Milk is literally poisonous. Eggs, because they're so acidic and so loaded with sugar, milk, and so hard to digest. But fish is going to be the most nutritious, although they're all acidic. Fish is going to be the most nutritious. And you want to use fish like from out of the Bible, out of Leviticus, when it's telling us to eat the, with scales and fins. Your fish. That's the kind of fish you're gonna have to eat. And don't eat farmed fish. Eat wild fish. Do not eat farmed fish, because you don't know how they farmed it, and unfortunately the reports aren't good. Incomplete proteins, which constitute the second group, contain only some of the essential amino acids. These proteins are found in a variety of foods, including grains are with non-essential amino acids from grains, legumes, and leafy green vegetables. Although it's important to consume the full range of amino acids, both essential and non-essential, it is not necessary to get them from meat, fish, and poultry, and other it is not necessary to get them from meat, fish, poultry, and other complete protein foods. In fact, because of their high fat content, as well as the use of antibiotics and other chemicals in raising of poultry and cattle, most of those foods should be eaten in moderation only, and they shouldn't be eaten at all, actually. Unfortunately, the dietary strategy called mutual supplementation enables you to combine partial protein foods to make complementary proteins that supply adequate amounts of all of the essential amino acids. For instance, although beans and brown rice are both quite rich in protein, each lacks one or more of the necessary amino acids. However, when you combine beans and brown rice with each other, or when you combine either one with any of the number of protein-rich foods, you form a complete protein that is high. It's a high-quality substitute for meat. To make a complete protein, you want to combine beans with any of the following beans, you combine it with brown rice, corn, nuts, seeds, or wheat. Technically, seeds would be the best. Nuts would be second. And you want to soak, and you want to wash the seeds before you, and soak all the phytic acid off of the seeds and off of the nuts. You want to soak them and wash them first. Seeds and nuts. It will be your best protein sources to combine with beans. Or combine brown rice, organic, of course, with beans, nuts, seeds, and wheat. So most Americans eat too much protein. And we've come so close to the top of the hour. We're going to have to finish this next week. We're going to get into finishing about protein. Then you're going to learn all about fats, and we're going to get into educating you totally about food and which ones and how to eat food and get the most out of it. But we've come up to the top of the hour here. I want to thank you for joining us here on Discoveries in Health. Let's get over to Ephesians and get our closing prayer. Let's get that whole body of armor on. I think I'm sleeping in that whole body armor of God. I never take it off. I'm leaving it on all the time. Makes good sense to me. Anyway, in Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and having your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, take the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseveration and all supplication for all saints. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Let's go over to the all of the folks over there in dial pad meetings, and let's get some mics unmuted there. Brothers and sisters, all praises to the Most High. Praise, worship, and thank you, our Heavenly Father. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High.
All praise to the Most High.
Just abominable.